A while ago, I put together this mini aquarium that is very quickly turning into a crazy ecosystem. It took me 3 tries to slowly build it by adding a unique group of tiny creatures and live plants, one by one, and this video follows the whole process from setting up the environment to finally leaving them to thrive on without me. It all started with my trip to the aquarium store to get a new tank for my 5 pregnant sea monkeys. And it turned into me somehow leaving with 7 shrimps. We're here at Big Al's aquarium. Come on. I don't really know how it happened. I just couldn't contain myself, and you'll understand now that you see what the inside of this aquarium store looks like. It is absolutely amazing. I took a look at all the fish, got a little tour from the store manager who actually gave me some pretty awesome information.
These 2 buggers here, male, female, they bred 3 times. The male keeps the babies in his mouth, and then when the babies come out, you have to feed them brine. This is my little setup.
Like brine when they're live?
Yeah, I just grow it all here because
that's a cool setup.
So when I'm feeding one, I'm hatching another set, and that's what I tend to use.
You're breeding them essentially.
No, I just hatch them and feed them to the guys.
My sea monkeys all got pregnant without a male. Now there's 8 of them who have little egg sacs. Because now I'm thinking shrimps are a little level up for me.
This is the
Oh, really? So if you don't have that, the plants will kind of just
Well, what happens
wither?
is that you get an abundance of algae growth. It tends to suffocate your plants, and you'll end up suffocating them and dying. As you can see, tons of shrimps there. Amano shrimps. One of the few shrimps that cannot be bred in captivity yet because they actually go from freshwater to salt and breed and come back.
Could I get those? Oh, these are shrimp? As soon as I saw the baby tiny nano shrimps, I was set on getting them. Oh my god, these are so cute. Can these 2 be in the same tank?
They can be, yeah.
Yeah? Yes. So those are fully grown adults, and these guys are too?
So yeah, the yellow, blue, and red are actually about the same size as these reds are when they're fully grown. And then the Amano Shrimp, depending if it's male or female, they're closer to about 1.5 to 2 inches.
Okay. Would they eat my sea monkeys? Or could they
I
coexist?
can't say for sure. It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Actually, this would be a good thumbnail. We have some shrimps that we're gonna get. I chose 3 red cherry shrimps. They look like little lobsters.
I love these ones. They look like Mr. Krabs.
1 yellow neon shrimp.
There's one. Look at them. Yeah, they're so cool.
1 blue velvet shrimp and 2 Amano shrimps.
Woo!
So excited. Oh, look, he's getting them.
Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Hey, good job. At first, I thought the whole thing would be easy. Put the shrimps in an easy tank, no problem, they'll be totally fine. Wrong. Confused? Okay, well, allow me to explain. I didn't buy a tank initially. I first went to Value Village, which is like a discount store in Canada, to see if they had any mystery tanks there. So we're here at Value Village. Let's go.
Woohoo!
As soon as I walked into the store with my friend Julia, we were astonished by the size of this place. It was the biggest one I ever saw in my life. It's the biggest Value Village I've ever seen in my life.
Are you filming this?
This is insane. This is like Winners.
Oh my god.
And all the plant pots looked so cute.
This is bougie Value Village.
Should we get this?
What do you think?
$8 for Value Village is a little expensive, but of course, we're here for an aquarium and came for plant pots instead.
It's going in the cart.
Oh my god, look at those mugs.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Look at the mugs.
Even though I got a bit distracted, I got very lucky and actually found this 3.7 liter tank for $13. And I figured this was perfect for the shrimpies. Found this. I want to show you this.
Is that the aquarium you needed?
It's not glass, but do you think this is okay?
Well, it looks pretty legit.
It's okay.
It's a pretty good size.
We can get another one too if we find one. Perfect. He loves barbecue chicken.
We have so many dogs, you can make so many friends.
So naturally, after making some friends, thanks to Raf, Julia and I checked out, made a stop at her place where her dad Rich kindly gave me some aquarium products from 2006. Thank you so much. I don't think I've seen something from this year and I don't know.
You just see, I told you it was old. 2009? That's not even that bad.
Are you kidding me? That's like 15 years. And then I made my way home with my new children to start the process. It was exciting. I only ever had Raffi as a pet, and well, a fish that I had for 3 years that I named Rupa Berbert as a child. But truly, I was starting to get pretty pumped about these shrimps, and when I was home, I immediately washed the tanks out with lukewarm water. I didn't use soap because it could contain chemicals that could kill the shrimp, and I also decided I would keep the Amano shrimp away from the cherries, neon, and velvet until I added more hiding spots for the little ones to hide so the Amanos didn't eat them. So at this point, I was washing out and getting 2 tanks ready. One 3.7 liter one that we got from Value Village, and this plastic tank that I kept my butterfly eggs in the summer that hatched. I'm not really sure how big it is, but it's pretty small. At that point in time though, I figured it would be perfect for the shrimp because they're so tiny. I filled the tanks with stones, gravel, plastic plants. Don't worry, I didn't use the 2006 water conditioner, but I did condition the water with a new conditioner and dechlorinator that I bought, and I performed a pH test. And finally, everything was looking good. My shrimps were ready to be added to the tank. I was so excited. I even invited my brother Mike and his girlfriend Michelle over to come see the shrimpies.
You bought these? Like to eat?
Hey, Ref.
I have to get heater, filters.
What?
I don't even know.
Where do you buy them from? PetSmart?
Big Al's.
She spent $100 on some shrimps. I told her, I was like, you could have got a full bag of frozen ones for like 25 bucks.
Hey!
Yeah.
And look,
More shrimp?
I went to Chocolata.
Oh, I love that place on
And they
Steeles.
gave me this for free.
That's so nice.
I know.
So you just showed up and just asked for free stuff?
No, I literally went to buy this and they're like, oh, it's complimentary. You don't need to give this to me for free.
That's so lovely. I can't wait to see them grow up.
I know. And for about 13 hours, I watched them swim. And although they looked happy, I just was not happy with these tanks. I tested the pH of the water many times that day, and everything was looking great. I even got a snail that somehow landed in the tank.
What is that? Do you not see those antennae? Is that a snail? It's moving! Oh my god.
And snails are awesome because they are hermaphrodites, which means they have both male and female reproductive organs like our sea monkeys. So they can reproduce without a mate, but with snails, it's said to be very careful with the tiny ones because they can infiltrate the dealer and find the supplier in your tank in only a few weeks. And you'll have to get a bigger snail to eat the rest of the tiny snails, you know, just part of the overall ecosystem. Anywho, before we could worry about the snails procreating like crazy, I had to figure out what to do because now I had these shrimps and I didn't realize how much I would care about them, and that meant I had to give them a better life. I also wanted to see if there was a way I could house them without using the traditional aquarium setup with the heater, the filter, the bubbles, and whatnot. So I started researching plants that shrimps like, and I also learned about something called the Walstad method. Unlike traditional aquarium setups with artificial filters and frequent water changes, the Walstad method relies on a balanced ecosystem with live plants, substrate for the shrimps to walk and live on, and a minimalistic approach to filtration. It creates a self-sustaining ecosystem where plants, bacteria, and microorganisms work together to maintain water quality and support a healthy aquatic environment. So basically, you make your own self-sustainable, balanced aquarium or ecosystem with shrimps and aquatic plants. You can use other aquatic animals that support each other and will not require any CO2 injection or added fertilization, or basically anything with the exception of the plants and the aquatic animals. A successful Walstad tank has enough plant growth that the plants themselves oxygenate the water to the fullest, and the plants are the reason why the Walstad method works so well and is becoming so popular amongst naturalistic aquarium enthusiasts who want to build a simple, cost-effective, vibrant, and naturalistic aquatic habitat that lasts for at least 5 to 10 years. And after 10 years, the Walstad method says that the soil layer can become depleted and the aquarium may stop thriving, keyword may. So if it does, you can change the soil substrate once a year, and then you can make your aquarium last even longer than 10 years. And while I did this research, I filtered the water manually for about an hour that day with an external water pump filter to clean the water because I didn't want it to get too dirty and build up ammonia since there weren't any live plants in there yet. I didn't have to do this manually, but I wanted to because I was scared my baby shrimp would get sucked up into the filter because they were kind of swimming around it, so I had to watch to make sure they were safe. But so, determined to give these shrimps an upgrade from their studio apartment, I quickly returned to the store for live plants, almond leaves, shrimp substrate, algae disc snacks, wax, driftwood, and I got a 4-liter bowl to create our ecosystem inside of. And then the fun part came. I was finally ready to put it all together. I filled up our bowl with Fluval Stratum, which is just soil for shrimps and for the plants to grow nicely. I washed the dust off the stratum with water thoroughly, and once it was clean and no dark water was running through the bottom, I was ready to add it to the bowl and then add my live plants in. The plants that I added are Java moss, which is a foreground plant, Monte Carlo, which is also a carpet plant, Sagittaria, which flowers but also roots really fast, a mother Java fern that I decided to split up into sections. I love all fern varieties, but aquatic Java ferns are such a go-to aquatic plant because shrimps love swimming through them, sleeping on top of them, hiding in them, and they basically create an ever-evolving jungle for them to swim in. And then I got some almond leaves to act as their beds and driftwood pieces to give them something to chew on and walk on. But then lastly, I added some water lettuce, duckweed, and frogbit for the top floaters, which I just love how the roots look when they float on the top. It's like a little pond. And by the way, these are all plants that most aquatic beings love, so you can check out my caption below with all the info about these plants so that you can upgrade your aquarium with live plants if you'd like to as well. But shrimps actually eat microscopic plant pieces, but mostly the algae off of plants, and they love it. A shrimp's whole life is basically a search for food as opportunistic omnivores, so they eat both plants and animals, dead or alive. So next to the plants, they also eat things like worms, baby fish, small snails, anything they can get their tiny arms on, but usually, honestly, they're quite friendly. They mostly have to worry about the dangers of themselves getting eaten by bigger creatures since they're so mini, nano, tiny, cute. Well, I added the plants into 2 enclosures like the first round because I was still too scared to add the Amano shrimps with the cherries, neon, and velvet. It's said that there's a possibility the Amanos will eat the others, but I may introduce them into the tank soon, or I may return them for more neons and velvets to make them all trios. I may actually do that regardless, but anywho, let me know your thoughts on what to do about the Amano shrimps, if I should add them in the tank or leave them in their own enclosure. I just want them to be happy and nobody dead. But finally, I finished the 2 ecosystems with our live plants, and I added some airstones, and I planted a chair right in front of the aquarium ecosystem to take a look at how the shrimpies looked, and I basically sit there for many hours per day. But anywho, something still wasn't right. Although the shrimpies looked really happy, I just wasn't happy with these results. And I guess I convinced myself that it was time to upgrade their studio apartment to not just a 1-bedroom apartment, but a mansion. Lord knows I would ever care so much about 7 shrimps, but I truly do love them, and even though it was almost perfect, I just wanted to provide them with a proper home. So, round 3, I was gonna do it fully right this time. I went back to the store, where they now know me by name, and got a tank that has colored LED bubbles and a waterfall. It's 10 gallons, and I redid it all again. I also added a sponge filter so I don't have to clean it too often because usually airstones don't really filter as well as sponge filters, and this new tank does come equipped with a filter that we will use, but only for about a month until the plants grow bigger, because remember, the goal is to eventually have an all-natural ecosystem following the Walstad method. But I believe the filter will help until the plants provide even more beneficial bacteria to the water, and then I'll turn it off slowly but surely, not all at once. I'll ease them into it, and I'll watch and evaluate the shrimp and aquatic plant behavior to make sure they're constantly happy and thriving. I almost forgot to put the tank in its final spot before adding water, and that would have been a mess because I cannot carry a 10-gallon tank filled with water anyway. I moved it just in time and got all the water added. Also, the water temperature stays at 23 in my apartment, so they don't need a heater until this summer when the AC comes back on. I may get a heater anyway just in case, but I'm not quite so sure yet, so just let me know your thoughts on that. But finally, once I added the water conditioner, tested the pH thoroughly, and waited a while, my new tank was ready. And after what felt like eternity, it was time to add my shrimpies. I made sure the lighting was working and the bubbles were good, and I also added a second airstone for added bubblets, and my shrimps were basically dancing. I was so excited, and now I was happy, and the shrimpies were happy. They were floating and dancing around in the bubbles and hopping about in the tank, munching on the plants and the little algae discs that I gave them. So you know me, I started 3D printing them some little cubes, some hideouts, some caves. I'm printing a tall castle currently, and once I have enough hiding spots, spots in the tank for these little ones. I feel like I can maybe add the other 2 Amano shrimps to the tank, but I'll just have to watch them for some hours in my chair that's planted right in front of the tank to make sure that they're all getting along. I know Amanos can live just fine with cherry shrimps, but I'm just unsure about whether they can do the same with neons and velvets, so let me know if you have any experience with that so I don't have to return the little guys and I can just ease them into it. I just want to give my shrimps the best life ever. And now, honestly, this one looks pregnant. Is it just me, or can you see those little eyes in her belly, or honestly, am I just crazy? I could have even sworn I saw a little baby in the tank, but I lost sight of it and I only saw it one time, so now I'm wondering if this shrimp is giving birth one by one slowly? I'm not sure, and I really can't tell, but we'll know in about a week or 2 if we have 100 little tiny red cherry shrimp babies. And contrary to what some of you commented, saying I shouldn't add these breeds together because they can make babies that are brown or clear, this is also another experiment because I have heard that slowly but surely the colors can turn into multicolors, so maybe we'll have like our yellow and red orange shrimp, so we'll see. But I'm okay with brown and clear shrimp too. They're just like ghost shrimp. But now my goal is to get all of them pregnant and hatch their babies so that we can hopefully have thousands in a couple months, and then I'll have to get a 20-gallon tank. But anywho, in order to breed, shrimps must be really happy and like their conditions a lot, and contrary to sea monkeys and snails, they do need a male to mate, so it might be tough, but since they look so happy in their 3rd round mansion setup, it's safe to say that the 3rd time's the charm, and we're gonna get lucky here, I'm confident. So that's the story of how I rescued and adopted 7 shrimp that have now become quite literally my children that I love dearly, and I just want the best for them. I'm excited for 1 month from now when the plants settle, because growth will be exponential. And after the month passes and the plants are bigger, we'll start to further implement the Walstad method in full force to achieve our all-natural ecosystem. And by the way, of course you remember those sea monkeys we hatched that got pregnant without males? Well, not 1, but 5 of them ended up getting pregnant, and now, look, we have thousands of babies in our sea monkey tank. I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking of rehousing these and then breeding them to feed the shrimp, but I don't want to pollute my tank with the baby sea monkeys because there's so many of them. But I was thinking maybe that'll help the Amanos to not eat the cherries, neon, and velvet. And I have these sea monkeys to thank because they are what grew my passion from sea monkey brine shrimp to real Neocaridina and Caridina shrimpy species. Hope I said that right. And soon I'm gonna add more animals to our ecosystem. I'm thinking a mini catfish and some snails to start. I want to introduce a little tiny water frog, 2 of them, so they have a friend and can become family, but I'm not sure if they eat the shrimp, so I'm gonna go back this weekend to the fish store to look for a frog and get 2 more neons and 2 more velvets to make the shrimpies have trios. Anywho, thank you so much for watching this week's vid. Don't forget that on this channel, usually we take the seeds from inside exotic fruits and grow them into full-blown houseplants that fruit. But this week, we turned our passion for brine shrimp into a real thriving ecosystem for shrimps with live plants and no filter. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, always know that I love you, and I'll see you next week.